haven't mowed this orchard since the last video, I don't think, or maybe a week after. So the grass hasn't grown real long. It's not the season for it, but if you notice in here we have poplar trees growing. Look at that. Over here on the haven't mowed this orchard since the last video, I don't think, or maybe a week after. So the grass hasn't grown real long. It's not the season for it, but if you notice in here we have poplar trees growing. Look at that. Can I grow a forest or what? Those things are waist high already, growing up in the orchard. So it's time to prune, or time to mow those. Got some Queen Anne's lace flowers. So yeah, it's time to mow it. I'll have the sun do that. Okay, over here on the Northwoods Early, and we put some Lodi on it this year, and we'll see how they're growing up. We have, a good 2 foot of growth on here. Look nice and healthy. The tips, no aphids on them. Look on the underside of the new leaves. Now, this was aphid damage. I sprayed them. The aphids are dead. The leaves have curled a little bit. The new growth, free of aphids. So that limb will survive now. On your grafts, make sure you do watch for aphids to keep them from being killed their first year. And Northwoods Early, this is the last year's graft right here. The cyan wood was about that tall. So there's the union, and it grew up from there last year, and now it's side branching. These are side branches. What do they call them? Laterals. The Liberty tree had a very light fruit set this year, but they're doing well in this low soil. They don't get quite as colored red on this side, but so there's the Liberty tree. It's doing well. I call that the sprayless tree. I grow poplar trees. Look at that. We call them popple here in Michigan. They snap when you burn them. They pop. High water content in a poplar tree. Here is the Dayton tree. How's that for a load of apples? Again, as in the previous video, fork stick, 1x1 sticks, probably popple, with a zip tie. You just put them side by side, put the zip tie around it tight, and then you just open it up and fork it under there, under the limb. Hold the limb up at horizontal, like this one. This limb is affectionately called Danae's limb. Dayton is doing well. That one looks a little bruised or something. These will get large and red. They have a little bit of ribbing on the bottom of the apple, but a very beautiful red when they get done. And as you can see, the whole tree is pretty much loaded. I don't know what I'm going to do with that top. I'm afraid it's going to break. It is loaded, and I have it tied up here. I was trying to change the shape of the tree. I was trying to keep it more of an upright tree. So in an early video I showed how I staked it and roped it up, and I forced the main leader up higher. That thing would be bent right over near the ground right now if I leave that open, and I might just have to cut that rope and let it go, let it bend down. I'm gonna have to take a closer look at it when I get off the video and find out. See that fork up there at the top? Looks like I have one rope around the fork, the crotch. Ooh, that's not a good location. I might be pulling that crotch right open. Looks like I'm going to have to let that rope go. The tree will probably bend way over then. I was trying to grow these trees up like this one, sort of a tall tree to keep them away from the deer. I didn't know if the fencing would last, or if I just removed the fencing years later. But these trees are just going to, anything within 6 feet of the ground will be deer damaged. They'll kill it. So if I ever let them in here. This tree, most of the tree is 6 foot or below, so looks like I need to keep a fence around here. But those are going to be good apples. I really enjoy a Dayton apple. It's more of an orchard tree, though. I can see why you wouldn't want this in a commercial field. Yeah, I see the sunny side. We're getting a nice blush on it already. All right. Up here we have the McCowan. Here's what I was trying to do with the trying to bend the limb out a little bit because it was going vertical. So put a little weight on it with some clothespins, and it's bent it out a little bit. Has to be this year's growth, a new growth, to do that. So I was just playing with that experiment. Doesn't work on larger trees. The best way to spread a limb is, say this limb right here. Okay, you'd cut it off to an outward growing limb, prune it off right there. Okay, and it would go out, and it's still going to want to grow up on an upward growing tree. That's what's happened up here in this limb. You can see it past all those leaves.